Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney and today is Thursday, June 2nd. Thank you for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. I'm Stephanie Haney here with the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio. We know that they're the stories that matter most to you because these are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and from our app. And we'll start with an update. Parma Senior High School has been given the all clear after classes were canceled today because of a shooting threat. There was a student, according to a post on the Parma City School District, who had emailed administrators at Parma Senior High School saying that the person was aware someone had planned to come to the school for, quote, violent reasons. It was investigated, and out of an abundance of caution, the district leaders canceled the classes at Parma Senior High School. They also went on to say that it was clear to them that the threat was limited to the high school, so they didn't close other schools in the area. That was a determination that they had made. And then they worked with the Parma Police Department to determine that the threat was not credible. So for that reason, the all clear was given by law enforcement officials, and the afternoon activities are clear to continue at the high school. Parma Senior Principal Andy Suttle said that there would be arrangements communicated for anyone who missed an exam today because of the cancellation. Now, at the state level, Governor Mike DeWine has said that he does intend to sign a bill allowing teachers and other staff members to be armed. Of course, this is a conversation that is happening around the country after the shooting in Uvalde, Texas at Robb Elementary School, where 19 children and 2 teachers were killed in the recent days. This is House Bill 99. It passed the Ohio Senate and the House on Wednesday, and this is a response to an Ohio Supreme Court ruling last year, which held that under current law, armed school workers would need hundreds of hours of training. So under this latest version of the law, school employees who carry guns would need up to 24 hours of initial training. Up to is key language there, and then up to 8 hours of requalification training each year. Here's what the bill does not include: a total minimum training requirement. That's why the bill is being criticized by Democrats. They're saying that the legislation was pushed too quickly without all the details. What the training would require is how to stop an active shooter, training on how to de-escalate a violent situation, trauma training, and first aid care training, at least 4 hours in scenario-based or simulated training exercise. So I guess at that point you could argue that there is a minimum of 4 hours of training required, and completing tactical live firearms training. This is according to the language in the bill. DeWine said that it would be up to the school district to decide whether arming educators and staff members is the right decision for that school. And if they do opt in to be armed, the teachers would receive training every year. He also said this. Here's a quote from the governor. "We will also be giving the schools the choice of providing additional training that we would stake out, provide for, in case they want more than 24 hours for a teacher." Now, the bill has some opposition. Major law enforcement groups and gun control advocates do oppose it, but it is supported by a handful of police departments and school districts. To let you know how this compares to what's happening around the country, more than 24 states allow the arming of school employees under some circumstances. Now, DeWine did not say when the bill would be signed. Also this week, Ohio Republican House members have inserted a transgender girl sports ban in an unrelated education bill, and it's not the first time that they have tried to do something like this. So the measure was added to an education bill in the Ohio House on Wednesday night, and it was approved in the Ohio House only along party lines. That means Republicans voting for, Democrats voting against. The legislation has this language. It says, no school or athletic conference, quote, shall permit individuals of the male sex to participate on athletic teams or in athletic competitions designated only for participants of the female sex. Now, as I mentioned before, this is not the first time that House Republicans here in Ohio have tried to do this. They tried to do something a year ago, and it died in the House. The Senate has also, by the way, at this point adjourned for the summer, so it will be similarly sitting in the House for some time. Now, Republican Governor DeWine has questioned the need for this kind of a ban. He says that the matter is best handled by leagues and athletic associations. The Ohio High School Athletic Association has consistently said that there is no evidence of a problem posed by transgender girls competing in sports, and the number of these types of participants is very low, comparatively speaking, to the number of people participating in youth sports. Now, here's some positive news for young people. The White House is now talking about when it might be possible for the first COVID-19 vaccination shots for kids under 5, and it could be very, very soon. The Biden administration said today that children under 5 could get their COVID vaccinations, their first shot, at least as early as June 21st. This is if federal regulators authorize shots for the age group. White House COVID-19 coordinator Ashish Jha said that the Food and Drug Administration's outside panel of advisors will meet on June 14th and 15th, very soon, and they'll evaluate the Pfizer and Moderna shots for the younger kids, and then shipments to doctors' offices and pediatric care facilities could begin soon after FDA authorization, with the first shots possible the following week. So we'll keep you updated on that. Now, it is Thursday, so we do have the latest COVID-19 numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health, and here is a bit of positive news. For the first time in close to 2 months, new case numbers in Ohio decreased from the previous week. So the new case numbers over the past week, 17,530. Last week it was 19,546. So about 2,000 fewer in this week period than in the previous week period. Right now, the total number of people in Ohio who have lost their lives related to COVID-19 is at 38,657. We've seen 482 new hospitalizations in the last week, bringing that current number to 753 people in the hospital right now being treated for COVID-19. Out of those people, 89 are currently being treated in an ICU. Now, here's some positive medical information out of UH Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. That place here in Cleveland is the first in the world to use the Pulse platform for pediatric spine surgery. So that's a very big deal because the health officials tell us that this advanced technology was used to complete a spinal fusion on a 12-year-old girl. Incredible. Now, UH explains what the Pulse system does and how it works, and we have that on WKYC.com. But big level, high level, when we're talking about this, they tell us that they're talking about technology that enables a surgeon to enhance the capabilities and to be less invasive in the approach. And there's also more advanced surgical procedures available with this platform. And because it's a less invasive option, it could lead to reduced operating room time by as much as 60 minutes. That's a big deal. Savings of nearly $5,000 per patient in hospital costs. That's a very big deal. Reduced time under anesthesia and lower intraoperative risks. Also a very, very big deal. And a shorter stay in the hospital. So all of these things obviously very positive based on this new technology that's being used right here in Cleveland. And with it being Thursday, you know, it's also time for your good news break. We've got that on our WKYC YouTube page. I'll share just one story. We are sending good vibes to a Canton family that is hoping to grow. We introduced you to the Ayers family, Courtney and Patrick, back in February when they were trying to get pregnant through IVF, and they've been sharing their journey on social media. That time was not successful, but they tried again recently, and I am happy to report that they are pregnant. So congratulations to Courtney and Patrick Ayers. We are sending them all of the good vibes. For the rest of the good news show, head to the WKYC YouTube page. You can also find it on WKYC.com. Now, this is a bit of a wild story and a bit of a cautionary tale. We have dash cam video of a man being pulled over for Memorial Day weekend traveling 147 miles per hour on a motorcycle in a 65 mile per hour zone. This was in Medina County, and we've got the dash cam footage of it, so you can see him responding when the officer says, "Do you know how fast you were going?" And he says, I wasn't paying attention. I don't know how fast I was going. I can't even imagine moving that quickly in a vehicle without being aware of it. Who knows what it's like when you're driving a motorcycle. But in all seriousness, the Ohio State Highway Patrol did report 17 deaths on roadways during Memorial Day weekend. So slow it down. Definitely slow it down. And you see the cop talk to him about that. You see the officer tell him, "Listen, just trying to keep you safe here, buddy. 147 miles per hour. That's pretty fast." Here's some other transportation news. Ford will be making a major economic announcement with Northeast Ohio. They will be making all new electric vehicles, and it's a huge investment. a $1.5 billion investment. So Ford says they have plans to add more than 6,200 new manufacturing jobs in the Midwest and $3.7 billion in investments at facilities in Ohio, Michigan, and Missouri. And what they say about their plans for Ohio is $1.5 billion investments and 1,800 union jobs at the Ohio Assembly Plant. And this is all to assemble a new EV commercial vehicle, and that'll start around 2025. And an additional 90 jobs and $100 million investment between Lima Engine and Sharonville transmission plants. So lots of money and lots of jobs. Construction at Ford's plant in Lorain County is expected to begin later this year. Production on the vehicle itself still years away, but good news on that plan. And since it is Pride Month kicked off yesterday, we are highlighting some of the great things going on here in our community. And 3 News got exclusive access to a large development project in Lakewood geared toward the LGBTQ plus community. It's called Studio West 117. And this is several different projects around the area of West 117th and Detroit. Phyllis Harris, who is the executive director of the LGBT Center of Greater Cleveland, said very on board with this project. Here's a quote from Phyllis. "At times, I think we don't think enough about what we might need to be a thriving community members here in Northeast Ohio." So the building, the field house, will have a gym for sports leagues, multiple restaurants, there'll be bars, a theater, a performance practice space, and Lakewood's first rooftop patio. Can I say yes? I am very here for the rooftop patios here in the greater Cleveland area. Co-developer Betsy Figge said this is something that they've been working on for the past 2 years. It's expected to be open to the public in October, so we'll be keeping an eye on that, and we'll let you know as that develops. And yesterday, if you were paying attention to the Cleveland Cavaliers website, you might have noticed new logos pop up on the website, and maybe you were wondering, what's going on there? Well, today, the Cavaliers have officially unveiled a new set of logos and a new color scheme. The wine color is here to stay, but that mustard-like gold will now be replaced by a more metallic gold. And this is sort of reminiscent of the gold that was worn in the 1980s and from 2003 to 2010. Also, no more navy. Navy will not be a part of the color scheme, so it'll be wine, gold, and black as the team's main colors. And they actually dropped some things off here at WKYC today, so you can see the logo right here if you've not seen it. We also have it on WKYC.com. This is the new look for the hat. You see no more wine, no more blue in that situation. It's a 1980s style Cavs word mark, and there's a V doubling as a basketball hoop. You can see it here on this t-shirt as well. And it's a more simple drop shadow in the rebrand, and this was led by the team's creative director and internationally renowned artist, Daniel Arsham. You can see more of the logos on WKYC.com. Now let's stay in the sports world. The Cleveland Browns teammates in this offseason are spilling a little bit of the tea about Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr.'s relationship. On the Varsity House podcast, Greg Newsome II and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah talked about the relationship between Baker and OBJ, and it was Newsome who admitted that it seemed like something was always a little bit off in that relationship, and that, yeah, it did become a distraction for the rest of the team. I'll read you the quote from Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He said, "It was just so much. The whole entire relationship was just off, honestly. And yes, it was distracting. It's distracting, but I knew at the end of the day I still needed to do my job. At the end of the day, we play defense, so we don't have to worry about the guy throwing us the ball. We don't have to worry about the guy that's catching the ball. We've got to stop them." So a little more coming out. Obviously, OBJ no longer with the Browns, and Baker Mayfield probably won't be with the Browns for very much longer. And that dynamic had an impact on the team. So take what you will from that. And congratulations are in order in the basketball world for LeBron James, because he is the first active billionaire in the NBA. Back in 2014, he had an interview with GQ, and he talked about his goal of becoming a millionaire. And he said if it happens, it's his biggest milestone, and he is going to be so excited because he wants to maximize his business. Well, 8 years later, Forbes has now declared, yes, he is worth $1 billion. Big time earnings. So he is just the third NBA player to reach that status alongside Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and the first to do so while still playing in the NBA. So here's a little breakdown of his money. He's earned more than $387 million in earnings via NBA contracts, and he's also got a slew of endorsements. business deals and investments that helped him push him over that top. So the Spring Hill Company makes him $300 million. Fenway Sports Group, $90 million. Real estate, $80 million. Blaze Pizza, $30 million. And cash and other investments, more than $500 million. So he is officially in the billion-dollar category at 37 years old. And he is the second highest earning athlete of the past year, behind soccer star Lionel Messi. So of his reported $121.2 million in earnings, a little more than $41 million came from his salary with the Lakers, and he had an estimated $80 million in off-field earnings. So right now he's going into his final season with the Lakers. He's eligible to sign a 2-year, $97.1 million extension. It remains unclear whether or not he'll do so. I know he has said that he wants to play his final years wherever Bronny plays, so hoping for Bronny to get into the NBA. One more thing to let you know before we go here. Cleveland Magazine has ranked its best places to live in the greater Cleveland area, and the winner is Beechwood. They have ranked all of Cleveland's 77 suburbs. Beechwood came out on top due to its top-rated schools, walkability, diversity, shopping, aquatic center, and dog park. Oscar Wilde of House McCool would approve of that. The top 5 in Cleveland's 20 best places to live, according to Cleveland Magazine, are Beechwood first, then Rocky River, then Pepper Pike, then Moreland Hills, then Orange Village. You can see the rest of the top 20 on WKYC.com. See if where you live has landed in the top 20. And I will see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now.